Let's go back to the United States and speak to Nihad Awad, Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations. He joins us now from Washington. Nihad Awad, thank you for your time. Let me ask you first of all about the open letter that your organisation, along with other preeminent Islamic scholars, sent last week to IS, Islamic State. What were the major points that you were making to the group?
I think the major message of this letter was that ISIS is illegitimate and ISIS is in direct violation of the Islamic teachings. ISIS leaders are not qualified to lead Muslims or to issue fatwas or legal opinions on who is a Muslim and who's not, who should be killed and who should not. ISIS, in the letter, we prove by the religious text that the killing of an innocent person is the equivalence of the killing of entire mankind, and the saving of one life is the equivalent to the saving of the entire mankind. And the fact that ISIS is killing people left and right, deciding who's Muslim and who's not, killing non-Muslims or people of other faith, is in direct violation of the Quran. And also it's in violation of the rules of engagement in the battlefield, by killing aid workers, messengers, and journalists. In a way, we in the letter, we made the case and dismantled the religious argument that ISIS is using to kill people and to do what they're doing now. So anyone who is contemplating joining them will think not only twice, but maybe 10 times, and hopefully will just be convinced that this is an organization that's not only Islamic, but it is working against the interests of the Muslim Ummah or the Muslim nation.
They call themselves Muslims, and yet the way you've described them, it could even be argued that they're even worse than that, because they regard anybody who's not a Sunni as an apostate. They would kill Shias, they would kill Christians, they would kill any minority that they come across, and yet they call themselves Muslim. How do they justify that?
They can call themselves the way they want it, but the Quran, the Muslim revealed text, clearly says that let there be no compulsion in religion. So you cannot force people to believe or even to behave the way they like, and you cannot impose yourself on people because it will be illegitimate. The question is not what ISIS is calling itself. It's sometimes journalists, policymakers, and leaders refer to them as the Islamic State or as jihadists. And I think in doing so, we are defeating the purpose, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot by giving them the legitimacy that they seek. Because jihad is a legitimate concept, a self-defense act, in Islam. And what ISIS is doing is violating the concept and the teachings of jihad and Islam. And therefore, even if they call themselves jihadists, because they use this term just to recruit other people, to give themselves legitimacy to deceive young people to join them, we should not do the PR work for them by referring to them with these legitimizing titles.
This latest beheading of the British hostage Alan Henning, you as a Muslim and in your position in your organisation, how much does it worry you that it reflects on Muslims in general? Now, clearly, level-headed, educated people around the world will understand the message that you're giving, the message that all major Western leaders are giving, is that this is not in the name of Islam. But there must be many people who make an easy correlation between the evil actions of Islamic State and Islam in general.
Unfortunately, many people in the West are unfamiliar with Islam, with the teachings of Islam. Had the case been with Christianity and Judaism, of course, there will be total understanding and disassociation between Christianity, Judaism, and any act of violence in the name of these two religions. When it comes to Islam, there is a lack of knowledge about Islam in the West, but compounded to that is the active publicity that ISIS is doing it in the name of Islam, and their sophisticated propaganda to deceive people, and the fact that some people, of course very few, are joining them and gives credence, unfortunately, to their so-called Islamic. So that shows that the amount of work we have to do in the West and around the world is tremendous, and that's why we believe this letter, the open letter that we sent to the leader of ISIS, is like a global consensus among the legitimate religious scholars in the world for Muslims, saying that what ISIS is doing is in violation of Islam, and that is not only meant for the soldiers and the people who may join ISIS, but also for the global Muslim community to know that we are reclaiming our faith from this criminal enterprise. And the other message is for the world to know that these criminals do not speak in the name of Islam or in the name of the world.
You just broke up a little bit at the end there. Just finally and briefly, if you could, what do you make of the strange timing of the release of this video? Because Eid has begun now in many Muslim countries. It will depend, obviously, on the moon, so it won't have happened everywhere, but in many Muslim countries it has. And Islamic State is releasing this brutal video at a time when Muslims are supposed to be celebrating.
I think it's an affront to the Muslims who are at Hajj, now spending time to devote their energy and their spirituality to God in the footsteps of Abraham and Ishmael. So it is an affront to the Muslim world that ISIS is introducing another example, another demonstration of their cruelty against innocent people and claiming to be Muslim. But I'm not sure if this is the timing that this timing has to do with the Hajj. Maybe it has to do with something on the ground itself. In either case, ISIS is just demonstrating yet again that it is cruel, it's brutal, and it is violating not only the spirit of Islam, but the spirit of humanity.
Nihad Awad, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.